Bonjour, dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition from our daily debate. I'm Mahisi Rabia, and today's edition will be tackled to shed the light on the Gaza Peace Summit that took place yesterday in the Red Sea resort of Sharm El-Sheikh. The summit was co-chaired between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and U.S. President Donald Trump, and took place with the participation of more than 20 from the world leaders and heads of international organizations. But we'll start with our top stories, where within the framework of following up the national fields projects, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli inspects the testing and trial operation stages of Egypt-Saudi Arabia electrical interconnection station in Badr City. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli was accompanied by Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy Mahmoud Ismat, as well as senior officials. The Prime Minister said that his visit aims to follow up final steps of testing this station, which he said represents a major pillar of the electricity interconnection between Egypt and Saudi Arabia. The Prime Minister praised the implementation companies and Egyptian workers, highlighting the need to train youth technical skills for similar future projects. Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati received the phone call from his Lebanese counterpart Youssef Ragai on Tuesday, during which the two top diplomats reviewed bilateral ties as well as the outcome of Sharm El-Sheikh Peace Summit. Foreign Ministry spokesman Tamim Khalaf said the two sides discussed the path of developing distinguished ties that bind the two nations. The two ministers expressed the two countries' keenness to continue coordination and consultations to enhance frameworks of cooperation in various fields, building on strong historic and brotherhood links, with the aim of serving the two nations' interests and supporting peace and stability in the region. The call addressed latest developments related to the Palestinian issue, with the Lebanese minister hailing the outcome of Sharm El-Sheikh Peace Summit and the significant breakthrough it produced in efforts to end the war. The Lebanese minister expressed his deep appreciation for the leadership role played by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in achieving these historic accomplishments and spearheading the Arab and international efforts to reach a permanent agreement that ensures the cessation of hostilities and facilitates the flow of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. And back to our topic of debate for tonight, where the Sharm El-Sheikh Peace Summit was held in the Red Sea resort of Sharm El-Sheikh, the city of peace, with the co-chairing of Egypt and the United States and the participation of 20 world leaders and heads of state and heads of international organizations.
Gaza Peace Summit was held in the Red Sea resort of Sharm El-Sheikh and was co-chaired by President Fattah al-Sisi and US President Donald Trump, with the participation of leaders from more than 20 countries. The summit aims to end the war in Gaza Strip, enhance efforts to bring peace and stability to the Middle East, and usher in a new phase of regional security and stability. This summit comes in light of US President Trump's vision for achieving peace in the region and his relentless efforts to end conflicts around the world. Addressing the summit, President al-Sisi welcomed all attendees to Sharm El-Sheikh Summit for Peace. He said they convened at this historic watershed moment, having collectively witnessed successful conclusion of Sharm El-Sheikh agreement to end the war in Gaza. This achievement heralds the birth of a genuine ray of hope which promises to close a painful chapter in human history, usher in a new era of peace and stability in the Middle East, and secure a better future for the peoples of the region who have been ravaged by conflict. He welcomed the courageous, peace-loving leadership whose efforts have contributed to ending the conflict and achieving security and development, not only in our region but across the entire world. He invited US President Donald Trump to join the world leaders advocating for peace. The head of state further expressed their immense appreciation to the wise leadership of this endeavor, which was pursued under difficult circumstances and which was reflected in the plan you put forward to end this tragic war that has cost humanity dearly. The President extended his profound gratitude to Egypt's partners in the United States, Qatar and Turkey. He restated his full support for and commitment to the implementation of this plan, thereby generating necessary political horizon to realize the two-state solution, as it remains the sole viable path to achieving the legitimate aspirations of both Palestinian and Israeli peoples to turn the chapter of conflict and live securely. The President said Egypt launched the peace process in the Middle East nearly half a century ago, specifically in November 1977, describing it as a pivotal moment that President Anwar Sadat, may Allah bless his soul, took resolute and unprecedented steps in the history of the region, embarking on a historic visit to Jerusalem. Since that moment, Egypt has inaugurated a new covenant, one that delivered a chance at life to successive generations, while substantiating that the security of peoples is not achieved through military might alone. Today, Egypt, alongside its Arab and Islamic sister nations, reaffirms that peace remains our strategic choice. Experience over recent decades has demonstrated that this choice can only thrive when established upon justice and the fundamental equality of rights. From this standpoint, and given that all peoples of the region enjoy an enduring right to their sovereign nation states, the Palestinian people are no exception. They too possess the inalienable right to self-determination and to envisage a future devoid of war. They hold the fundamental right to enjoy freedom and live within their own independent state, a state living side by side with Israel in peace, security and mutual recognition. President Sisi reiterated that peace is not the creation of governments, rather it is established by the peoples when they grasp that the adversaries of yesterday can indeed become partners of tomorrow. He deeply valued Trump's dedicated commitment to the restoration of life in Gaza. He promised that Egypt would work collaboratively with the United States and in full coordination with all partners over the coming days to establish the joint foundations necessary for advancing the reconstruction of the Strip without delay. The head of state said Egypt intends to host the Conference for Early Recovery, Reconstruction and Development of Gaza, which will build upon their plan for ending the war in Gaza with the ultimate goal of providing essential livelihoods for the Palestinians on their lands and restoring their hope.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. A very important summit for peace took place yesterday, co-chaired by Egypt and the United States, and with the attendance of more than 20 of world leaders and heads of international organizations to end the war, the 2 years of brutal war in the Gaza Strip, to shed more light on the summit and the importance of the end of the war in the Gaza Strip and how that could be achieved, and the phases of the plan which was implemented on the ground and was proposed by U.S. President Donald Trump. We are very much delighted to be joined here in the studio by Professor Dr. Mohammed Mokhtar, Professor of International Relations. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us.
I'm very glad to enjoy your program for today, especially for that history making by our President General Fattah Sisi, what he's done for being caring about the case, fighting, keeping fighting for peace, and learn the whole world the importance of peace, and important is Egypt in the world.
Indeed.
He still caring about his opinion and caring that never that the Palestinian rights, the Palestinian get back the land again, and keeping pushing with the state for the whole world, making very high communication. Also, we need to very proud of our president and even the president of foreigners. That's what he done related to that. It been given the whole world, Egypt is an important country, caring about peace, never related the war, and plus of that, you should be we caring about the power, and we had the power and authorities in the whole world, and we give several messages related to this summit which happening by our army, air force, with in the sky president to welcome our President Trump, the President of the United States, in the sky, and show him the Sharm El-Sheikh from up, and he was very, in the first things he was worried about what's doing, maybe there's but it was just welcome to attend, and welcome back again. And in this table we was mentioned in a couple of weeks we will see Egypt with our colleague here, that Egypt will do some things. Egypt never stop in that case, and that's why we're gaining what was happening yesterday from what happened.
And from all meetings and all the channels, President Sisi was always keen to assert that the Egyptian position is always steady, never changes regarding the Palestinians, indeed, and that was actually clear in yesterday's summit and the previous negotiations and mediation effort that was exerted by Egypt and Qatar in order to reach this stage from ceasefire and the implementation of the U.S. President Donald Trump's plan for the end of the war in the Gaza Strip. How do you see this plan and the summit yesterday by Egypt, hosted by Egypt, co-chaired by Egypt and the United States, with the participation of more than 20 world leaders and heads of states and organizations?
First of all, I'm very proud to what's happening. Very appreciation again to our president, Dr. Badr Abdel Ati, and all the ministers related to Egypt, to achievement, and also the police arranging, managing, all the dedicated to this conference that's submitted, and giving a message, very clear message to whole world about peace, about manage, about Palestinian getting back them land, and also has been show how deep of controlling and management and planning for Egypt. It's a matter of gaining, especially in this month, on October, again, related to what happening in 73, and also given Israel more details about that. Egypt never is not easy country in that area, in the Middle East, and even Egypt is caring about peace, is not hating the war, and it is time, as I mentioned before, it is time to stop this war in the Middle East. Enough what Israel is doing, and there was several pressures to them being that conference to be getting in, but with very high communication with our president, with the United States and all other 20 countries, also President Macron and Qatar and Saudi and other representative country was there to let this achievement. It's time to finalize and stopping this war. Egypt really do a very good effort related to that, and was a very good messages. And there is several notes dedicated to this day, show how Egypt have a secure, Egypt is a saving area. Egypt is never believe in the case, and also one of the notes that the President of the United States, Trump, had to invite our President Sisi to join his first vehicles, first car, to be join him, and to be our Egypt flag on that car. That never, most of the presidents not been allowed to get this.
The presidential car of the United States President.
Yes. To join him until to the conference. There is a clear message about the welcome between President Trump and President Sisi. It was, and he also have many contacts related to that, and he will say on the mic, on the directly online, that Egypt is peace. Egypt has the peace area, and you control more than our country.
Sir, before the start of the summit, both leaders, President Sisi and visiting President Donald Trump, held a press conference, and they held talks. And during the press conference, the U.S. President hailed the role played by Egypt and thanked President Sisi and said without Egypt, the end of the war would not have been achieved. How do you see the role of Egypt in ending the war and the mediation efforts that did take long between Hamas and the Israelis in order to agree on the points of the proposed plan by the U.S. President?
Egypt gone in the several tracks related to that, and different line between Hamas, between pushing on Hamas and Palestinian and Qatar and even Israel by communicate with President Trump. And there was to avoid several bridges related to that. There was very cutting to stop to not doing this disappointed to be in. But we insist, our president insists to let this happening. It's time and we using several communication bridge by using also communicate with France, President Macron, communication with Saudi. We're using every communication, we're using every ways, using everything to achievement that. And one of the scenarios to let this supposed to be in Sharm El-Sheikh, the peace area, as we mentioned in Egypt, it's becoming the peace area.
The city of peace, indeed.
Yes, city of peace, of course. And this is for the second time to happen in Egypt. And we're getting back to the history that was happening also with President Sadat after 70 the war. To sit was also with the president there to finalize and finish that. Egypt made the history always.
Of course.
And we doing non-stop to finalize these things. It was very several interrupting and several pressures to let this alive. It is time to get the Palestinian back to them city. And maybe for the end, and if Egypt done that, Egypt was have many things, or using some gainings to let the Palestinian be there, but our president never agree on that, and he insist that it must to get the Palestinian them country back.
Sir, that would bring me to ask about the participation of the world leaders in the summit. We have seen the participation of more than 20 from the world leaders and heads of international organizations in the Summit of Peace for Gaza. How do you see the keenness of this huge participation from the world leaders in the summit? What message here?
I believe it is a very good message. It's mean that you are communicate, you are planning, you are involved the countries, and this is one of the pressure on Israel. And it's also, Egypt was using every ways, like I mentioned before, internally and externally and international. And this is why this 20 countries been allowed and to be in, and that's supported. And this is why Israel agree and being signature of that. And there is also one of the message that was Netanyahu to be in. And we're not going to something related to foreigner things, but it's the matter that Egypt agree for that, not to be in, but we agree to approve these signatures to pass this peace back to them. And I believe that President Trump has to call our President Sisi to approve to let Minister Netanyahu to be in, and of course, as everybody knows, related to the things.
Yes. Sir, the role that could be played by the European leaders here and the European countries to help in maintaining the ceasefire and the end of the war, as well as the reconstruction of Gaza. How do you see the role that could be played by Europe in that in the coming phase?
It's get us back to something to our present planning after war. We was dedicated to that with European, that we was the first country planning in the first day to stop the war. What is the planning to Gaza?
The second day after the war.
The second day of stopping the war. And we have to communicate again, and we have also to contacts and preparing and planning to the construction, get the construction in, get this city alive. How to get cities alive. And I believe, and I'm sure in our communication between Egyptian government and European Union, how to starting that. And European Union had to moving and keeping things and to try to pushing financial issues to let this construction go in, since this is where it will be. And I was on my way today. I was seeing that Colombia, for example, had to dedicate all the things related to people working in drugs. That means the government stopping all this gold and all this action related to criminal things to be pushed to give it to Gaza to let this construction get back. This is all return us to something, the issue of Egypt. The preparing of Egypt. What is Egypt done? All of that, if Egypt doesn't do these things from several ways, I believe that this Gaza maybe will not find this day what we are happy to show that.
Doctor, indeed, the President Sisi is intending to host a conference for the early recovery, reconstruction and development of Gaza. How will the conference provide essential livelihood for the Palestinians on their land and restoring their hope for a normal life to be back, as we have seen in the past 2 days, when the Gazans were returning to the north? Almost 80% of the place of the Gaza city was destroyed, complete ruins. So how do you see the importance of such a meeting? And we have seen also yesterday President Sisi inviting the U.S. President Donald Trump to attend the summit.
We was attending that to approve, since this signature has been, this summit being ending by signatures. For example, the first day for today, we have more of the gateways being opening, try to get in gas, also fluid, all the things needed to Gaza. Many trucks have been interested.
Finally.
And also the medical needs, because there is nothing there in the medical.
Yes.
Hospitality is in a very high damage. More than 10% from hospitality is working. That's why we're using this things to be dedicated to needs and get a little bit of the life to Gaza. And for first of all, what happening with that destroyed it, you found several killers under the construction. We need to start over. And I believe this from the day it's been showing us the message what was happening yesterday in Sharm El-Sheikh. And Egypt still community and communicate with all the whole world what you gotta give for Gaza, what you also will support us to get this life back.
Yes.
As being planning since Egypt planned, and it also being showed that President Trump approved and agreed about the Egypt plan related to construction and get the life to Gaza.
Sir, also the President of the United States, Trump, extended his profound gratitude to Egypt's efforts and partners with the United States, Qatar and Turkey. How far these countries have actually collaborated their efforts in order to achieve this historical moment for ending the 2 years of brutal war against the Gaza Strip?
It's a very good questions. And to be answering that, I will give you small things. We make as what we say is high pressure from all around the world related to Israel. If you not agree related to that signature, you being out of the humidity, because it become all the world now hate Israel from what they done in Gaza. So that's why it was one of the keys of success, I believe it. Turkey and Qatar and all the corporate country was being there, and Indonesian and all the Qatar, Bahrain. We not like to forget countries and them effort to finalize these things to be let Israel to right and was being secured. You know how much that's to be secured and being guaranteed by the President Trump to be the church person, as you mentioned, for Israel. It's a way that it's become all the world in one man, and on the side Israel. What we're gonna do?
Yeah.
You should be say I'm in, and we will see that in Israel internally. All the peoples in Israel, the people of Israel, that's very happy to stopping the war, because themselves, and the newspaper has mentioned today that we all hated what happening. We're being not allowed to enter any other countries. Nobody liked them. And I believe also that was one of the things that was one of the show in the Europe had been welcome for a Palestinian family on the stage and saying that we all hate Israel. That's why it's not easy for Israel to be signed. Israel, you know, that didn't take them what they done, but Egypt using the secrets, using from the studies and our experience with Israel to put them, you know, in the world. You agree or not? They'll be kicking out from the whole world. That's why what we done it, and that's what we achievement yesterday. And it's now time a little bit for preaching for a while, and to control, to keep moving, to get their life again to Gaza, and never stop. And also Hamas, it's time for them to, as I mentioned before, holes in this in your studio before, it's time to look for Palestinian people. It's not a matter for share. Okay? Yes, you could be in the government, but it's a matter for keeping Palestinian in. It's not a matter of Hamas. And all the analysis people related to that, if Hamas is there or other, what would be achieved is Palestinian people.
Of course. Sir, also we have to mention here that according to the plan proposed by the U.S. President Donald Trump, and it was agreed upon by the two sides, Hamas and the Israelis, the first phase included the release of hostages and detainees and the stop of the war, the attacks from the Israeli side on Gaza, and the withdrawal of the Israeli forces to the Yellow Line. How do you see the implementation so far on the ground, which was achieved the first phase? How do you see the implementation of the second phase, which could be more difficult here on the ground?
It's also one of the things was Egypt very caring about that. So what is the alive achievement related to the second phase of that? And as been hearing from our from President Trump yesterday, that it will be one of the union, add to this union to controlling Gaza, it will be President al-Sisi to be one of the team corporate with Palestinian to controlling about stopping this war. And these things is, you know, is the first action, all right, to stop the war. And it's time to control about this phase, because it's a very initial sensitive phase to get this agreement alive, but it needs some good effort from Hamas, from Palestinian, to not dedicate it actionally with Israel, because see the visions. The vision, Israel wanted the war to keep it in, but to cover Netanyahu, especially for Netanyahu, what he done, because Netanyahu was most wanted around the world right now, even internally, and most of the Israeli people don't want him to get on. And there was also some dedicated message from ex-minister, first minister for Israel, that he dedicated several actions are criminal related to what's happening in Gaza, and he was lying on Israel people. So we need to keep focus about the agreement to achievement clearly, and please control yourself, every part there of the Palestinian, especially Hamas, and never look for division or the four from one part. Looking for the four-post way, or for 4D, for example. We need the achievement. We need to put the issue, and all the word, looking for Israel, to them what done, and to let Palestinian live
In that matter and in a related question, the President Sisi deeply valued the U.S. President Donald Trump's dedicated commitment to the restoration of life in Gaza. How can Egypt work collaboratively with the United States and in full coordination with all its partners in the future to reach this aim?
On land, Egypt already sent some, substance, and sending also some construction equipment dedicated to that. And Egypt tried to be involved also to show what's happening on the land and being communication directly with the USA related to that field. It would be one of the observation for both ways, Israel and Palestinian, and for the debt, and being also involve European Union related to that. And the United Nations was very attended also related to that, and Arab Union to controlling in the whole world related to that, to achievement and starting on land directly to get alive for Gaza. And we're not saying that we will, already we done. This is the different. This is Egypt.
Yeah.
Egypt always done, not in saying, it's achieved the things. It's been in. And the message was being saying from President Trump to President Sisi and all the president for Egypt, for what we done related to the submitted or other. And one of the gaining for today, Dr. Badr Abdulati has mentioned that Egypt has to had the chair in peace world related to 2026, 2028. We're just getting this things from a couple of hours. By the way, it's I believe it's a month of gaining. It's a month of for Egypt image to the old world. And Egypt keep giving all the world the good message and believing in peace, believing in ourselves and Egyptians. We make the history in the past, and we're still keeping doing that in the future, inshallah.
Hope so. Sir, also the head of state declared to grant President the Order of the Nile, the highest, most prestigious and most distinguished among the Egyptian decorations bestowed upon heads of state. How do you describe this move, the decision by President Abdel Fattah Sisi to give this the Order of the Nile to the U.S. President in recognition to his efforts in achieving peace and stopping the war in the Gaza Strip?
This is belief in how does the power of Egypt, how is how is Egypt so strong enough to manage and directing and like this. And for today, for example, for this issue, the president of Ethiopia had believed that we are getting wrong with Egypt, and we will try to communicate. And it's the Nile. It's not just only for Ethiopian. It's a matter of Sudan and Egypt. He has getting back in his word, and this related to how you are powering, communicate, and being in the visions. That's why Egypt is big. And I need also to all our followers or the people is asking why Egypt do that. One of the gaining, President Trump was, before his coming, there was a visit by the biggest international, I will not mention the name, a huge company related to oil and gas and energy source, was attended by our President Sisi. And after that, our President Trump is recognized and recommended all the international companies in the state to be in working with Egypt, to have several projects in Egypt. It's safe and very open and important area, and one of the friends related to us. It's several gainings, several gainings. And if you are controlled like a lion, you are a lion in the area, get to secure the area. We're not looking for other country. We just need our neighbors to be living in peace, living in stability.
Stability in the region.
And we learn the word, the peace. We learn the word what is, as I'm learning from international and United Nations, the peace and the life and the human rights. This is the human rights. That's why Egypt do, and passing the message related to this couple of days to all world.
Sir, how does the Sharm El-Sheikh agreement to end the war in Gaza herald the birth of a genuine new era, new ray of hope, which usher in a new era of peace and stability in the Middle East region?
Egypt giving by this message related to that conference just appointed several messages. What is Egypt? Important of it. The place of Egypt. The city place. I mean, Sharm El-Sheikh is a city place or city area, all right? And how you gain to communicate with Egypt? It's it's by being equation. If you want to solve your problems, come to Egypt. It's what I believe. We give this message to the world, and also how much they are futures-wise and making history, and not dedicated to gaining by other or your neighbors to solve their things, and with a clear message. You are like and believe and working with peace, not from one side or from one part, with communicated with the whole world to be involved, to be with us. That's why you gain the things. And of course, I would like to add the GIS security team doing with the boss of them, and there was several notes and message was happening related to them effort. Really, the GIS team is amazing and grateful.
Indeed, all the efforts that were exerted by Egypt to end the war, to talk with the two sides, Israel and Hamas, by the mediators, great efforts indeed. Sir, do you think that actually the significance of this summit will witness the end of the war completely? And we have seen President Trump, before heading to Egypt, visiting the Knesset and addressing the Knesset, where he said that we will witness new dawn, in a new era of peace in the region. Both the Israelis and the Palestinians will live in peace, and the nightmare is over. How do you see this speech by President Trump before the Knesset, and this very important point that he was keen to mention during his speech?
To answer that, before the answer that, I'm very proud to action from our president, since he assigning for the paper, he putting this assignment to the whole world like that. It's one of the great message. And related to your questions, that's the Knesset and what's happening with President Trump is both being against, believe me, in a protocol, them try to maybe letting President Trump to get in, but he is keeping pushing to complete the things. And on what happening in the Knesset, them was happy for that internally, but I mean there is some of the government or some of the related union to Netanyahu try to them more about several points and that, but President Trump mentioned he will guarantee all the points and will be involved in all the things, and he could we say that he shifting or getting this agreement to be alive. Them had to stop it for the first time to stopping these things by communicating with Egypt and the 20 countries, other 20 countries, especially Qatar and Turkey, to shift it, to let this alive, to get this summit in. That's why he getting maybe late for the time for a while, but we done the things as we mentioned by American, or the Americans said that we done it, we have it. The state agree, the state pushing, because it's one of the biggest country around the world, and to get this in with communicate with trusting in Egypt part and Egypt effort to be this submitted on right track.
Yes. Sir, how does hosting the peace talks affect Egypt's soft power?
Like I mentioned in the question, it's the soft power. It's believe and show how is the soft power of Egypt, how using Egypt give a lesson and learning things from international law and UN policy and procedures, how to using your soft, how use soft nails to, using protocol, using the communication, every ways, Egypt using every ways in related to soft issues to be our belief or to read this supported or to reach this agreement in taking pressure, taking communicate, taking planning, involve every countries to could be supported in that. And if you get missing in any one of part in this, you will not find this happy day to the whole world. And I believe it will be keeping in the history this day that never been forget.
Sir, in what ways has Egypt's role enhanced its image as a regional peace broker?
I mean, economy, related to economy and commercial wise?
No, a peace, for a regional peace broker.
It's for the regional peace. It's one of them that, as I mentioned, we agree that it will be that Federation of International Peace, Human Rights for today, gaining for that, and show how much Egypt believe in peace. Egypt was being mentioned of them that you could gain, but Egypt don't prefer to gain any financial issue or any other issue related to other country. Egypt was gaining from that to fund. It's one of the international security to let Palestinian get back to the lane and to get back to the yellow line and to communicate them to get them back to Gaza. Don't allow them to be out. And Israel was trying to get the future of them, to get them dream on. And was the first country to stop this Egypt.
Sir, can we say that yesterday's summit could be the beginning of a just and comprehensive peace in the region?
Exactly. This is right. It's how much is important of peace. The first important line or subject related to that, important of peace, important of humanity, important that's how do you dedicate it with other countries. You should be dedicated with other, helping other. It's not a matter of just to write that in books and papers. This is you should be having effort, and Egypt using the international effort related to international law and UN law to let this soft things to be from scratch to that or to be in.
How did you see the Arab reaction to Egypt mediation talks? And indeed, we have seen great efforts done by Egypt and Qatar during the years of the war, and we have seen excessive work done during the past few weeks after the proposal of the end of the war plan by the U.S. President.
It's now to show that it's very was clear message that important of Egypt to all Arab country and Islamic country. Without Egypt, Egypt is the defense. Egypt is the the first country. And them say that I would like I don't want to mention several names related for Gulf area and even Arab countries and Islamic countries. If Egypt is down, we are down. So this getting back to the image, getting back to them, and I don't like. I hear that Egypt is always in, Egypt always opening, but our President Fattah al-Sisi get the powerful army. Communication, imaging, also in the media. You know that, and dedicated to what happening yesterday, every media around the whole world is mentioned what's happening to.
Of course, you have the world leaders. All world leaders were keen to come and take part and participate in this very important.
President Trump is mentioned about our general, Sisi. Speaking about him, he's a strong man, and he mentioned also Adam, one of the words, he's a good man. It's a believing, and if you analyze the word, how deep he is how this man is controlling and believing peace. And it's time the whole world to live peace. We don't want an attack. War is a loser.
And that was clear. Our stance is always the Egyptian stance regarding the Palestinians and the situation in Gaza was always clear. Indeed.
Yes, always clear. But the mic now is with Palestinian. The important matter is come from Palestinian and of course Hamas.
Of course.
Please, taking care about what we achievement, taking care about the human, keep these things activity. Right? If we're missing, we need to show the world, Israel, that them taking care. If there is a missing part, let's show that Israel what they do, keep doing. And we need to, as a first, take a break. Let these people take a break and get them back alive.
Indeed. Sir, since you have mentioned take a break and keep these people alive, the entry of humanitarian aid and the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip. We have heard yesterday the Prime Minister of England, Keir Starmer, mentioning the help that England would provide for the Palestinians by having a conference for the reconstruction of Gaza, as well as the help that would be given from the United Kingdom for the infrastructure and the sanitary water and all these. So how do you see the help that could be given also from the European countries, from the Arab countries, in order to give the Palestinians the hope to have back their lives, since the destruction was actually massive?
Before answer this question, I need to get to the submitted to something.
Yes, please.
Why we don't ask ourselves why President Fattah al-Sisi is insist to invite these 20 countries to be in, to be one of, charging person, one of the witness, of course, the witness, to be involved the first coming day from Gaza. That means you are in charge. That means that every country is in, will give a hand, right hand over, not a verbal speech. I need what you will do with Gaza. One of that with the Ministry of England, them show, everybody is now showing what I will do. And it's part of that. But the first country is involved and achieved, it was Egypt. Then the coming is on the way. Because we need to control is in a very less time to this less life getting back in. And related to, as we learned from crisis management, still we have some initial issues and effort related to this damage to be shifting and getting this damage from the earth in Palestine and Gaza.
Indeed. Sir, finally, how do you see the future from here? Yesterday we have seen a very optimistic scene. We have seen a new dawn for the Middle East, as it was mentioned by the U.S. President during his speech in the Knesset and also during his speech here in Sharm El-Sheikh. And we have seen rays of hope for a new era of better future and a peaceful solution for the Palestinian crisis and to the nightmare of war. So how do you see the scene from here after yesterday's summits?
To answer that, it's which we will say that we done it. Egyptian government done it. Egyptian do it by doing preparation before this subpointed until the last ended of it, and since we are in now, let's believe that we are closed that case on the right positions and on the right agreement. Or, as we mentioned in the state also, it's a good deal. We're doing a good deal.
Yes.
And it's coming now to achieve this deal.
Yes.
To put it effectively with communication with every countries, from European, from Gulf area, every whole world. It's now your part to put our hand together to let this life in, to get these people live. And that's why we do it.
Yes.
And it was, I was one of the have this visions and missions here in our studio, and maybe we was fed up from what is in the
Yes.
past. What was sure that Egypt will do it.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Mohammed Mokhtar, Professor of International Relations. It was a real pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of this edition of the Daily Debate.